Guys, welcome back. Today we are going to wrap this pipe up. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to start by measuring this pipe. And I have measured the inside diameter, and it's a little over 1 3/4 inches, but for the sake of the size chart that was provided for us with the Ledo kit, we're going to call this a 2-inch pipe. Now I've used a string to measure the length of the pipe, and a handy trick to measure anything with curves in it is to use a string. Simply mark the string and measure it with a tape. And as you can see, we've got about 26 inches there. Now, because the size chart says that we need 44 inches of wrap for every foot of a 2-inch pipe, we're just going to call this pipe 3 feet and measure out 132 inches of wrap. Now make sure you got your gloves on. A dust mask is well advised, and some safety glasses, because this is fiberglass and you don't want this in your eyes, your skin, or your lungs. I'm just going to soak this in water. You can either use a spray bottle, a bucket. You can just soak what you need. I just chose to dunk the whole thing in there. That way I can get my mask off and I don't have to worry about fibers floating around in the air. It just seemed like the best option. You know, unless you're wearing like full latex gloves, or your hands are going to get wet and a little bit uncomfortable, but be a man and tough it out. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do here is I put 2 wraps on where I'm starting, right by the O2 sensor there. And now I'm just going to dry fit this wrap. I'm going to wrap it up loosely, covering about 90% of the pipe that I intend to wrap. And then I'm going to go back and cinch it all down. Cinch down. I'm going to go to where I started my wrap, and I'm going to fold it over to cover up the frayed end, and I'm going to apply just a plastic zip tie to hold it all in place. I was reading online that the stainless steel zip ties that the Ledo kit comes with don't secure that well, or are a bit of a pain in the ass, and it held true to every one of those reviews. The stainless steel zip ties that this kit does come with are garbage. So if you're doing a lot of this wrapping, you might want to go out and purchase yourself a few stainless steel pipe clamps just to get it secured, especially if you can hide them. I would strongly recommend using just stainless steel pipe clamps if you're in a position where you can hide them. If not, you can mess around with those stainless steel zip ties like I did. I just doubled them up, and it seems to be working fine. Now I'm just going to go back through here and cinch it all down nice and tight, making sure I have a 1/4 inch overlay on each wrap. Back, we've finished up our installation of the Ledo pipe wrap on our manifold pipe. This is what the dried final product looks like. It'll sit in the bike like that, and it looks pretty cool, man. It's got kind of like a goldy black look to it, and I'm redoing the entire bike in gold and black, so it's going to fit in really well. I wasn't too fussy up in here. This is going to be up underneath the frame. You're not going to really see that. Same with down in here. The ends are, I wasn't going to spend a lot of time ticking around to get something perfect that nobody was going to see. So that worked out pretty well. Okay, now that we're back in the very cold shed, it's about -6 out right now. we're going to try to slide this header pipe back into position. Now I found the easiest way to do this is to simply reverse the steps that I used, pushing the header back on and then sliding it back in through the mid pipe. Just take note, look at all the fibers flying around out there. I really should have been wearing a mask and gloves to do this, but I wasn't, so I'm not going to regret it now. But just for your reference, and if you're planning to do this in the future, probably not a bad idea. So now that the pipe's in position, I'm just going to go ahead and cinch back down that pipe clamp in the back, and I'm going to worry about that O2 sensor last. I did attempt to put the O2 sensor in before installing the pipe, and there just was not enough wire in there to allow me to put the O2 sensor in and slide it back up onto the mid pipe. It just did not work. So what I ended up doing was putting the pipe in, reaching in there with my hands, getting that O2 sensor in there as best as I could, and then just reaching in there with a 22mm wrench and giving it a couple of turns, and it was about a turn and a half and it was completely tight. Just take note, when you're putting the header back on, you're going to want to use even pressure on these bolts. So you're going to cinch one up and then cinch up the other one, and cinch up one, go back to the other one until you get it tight. You don't want to just crank down one side and then crank down the other side. Weird things tend to happen when you do stuff like that. It's a good rule of thumb whenever you're tightening up two sides of anything. Alright, here we go. Cold start with our newly wrapped pipe. Hopefully everything just works fine. Okay, and there you have it. Perfect. No leaks, no weird stuff happened, no engine light came on, so we're good to go.